What's up guys, enjoy the video and subscribe.
This story is titled, "All I said was, you cook like mom. Now my wife's living with my brother. My mom's in therapy, and apparently I'm emotionally abusive." Look, before you judge me, just know, I didn't mean it like that. But apparently tone, timing, and generational trauma are now things I'm supposed to factor into casual dinner compliments. So here we are, wife gone, brother playing house with her like he's some kind of savior, and my mom crying into Zoom therapy twice a week. And all of this? Because of one sentence I said while chewing a forkful of undercooked lasagna. Let's rewind. Here's the cast of this emotional train wreck. Meet 31M average husband, casual dumbass, accidental destroyer of domestic peace. Like spicy food, sarcasm, and apparently, verbal landmines. Emily, 30F my wife. Smart, pretty, loves vintage cookbooks and resents any resemblance to her mother-in-law with the intensity of 1,000 suns. Currently living with my brother because she needs clarity, which I guess means a new zip code and shared Spotify playlists. My brother Ryan, 28M former golden child, now apparently everyone's emotional support human. Wears soft flannel, listens too well, probably rehearses comforting phrases in the mirror. That must have been hard for you, he says like it's his damn catchphrase. My mom, 65F home cook, home wrecker, and retired champion of backhanded compliments. Known for her casseroles that taste like guilt and paprika. Spends most of her day gardening and rewriting history. Used to say things like, "Your father left because he couldn't handle my love," while pouring wine into her cereal. So yeah, picture us at dinner. It's a random Tuesday. Emily made lasagna. She was excited. First recipe she's tried from this dusty 1950s cookbook she found at an estate sale, full of recipes written by chain-smoking housewives who measured salt in tablespoons in marital resentment. I took a bite. It wasn't bad. Just bland. The kind of bland that clings to your teeth like paste. The kind of bland that makes your brain whisper, "Add hot sauce and run." And that's when I said it. Not cruel. Not sarcastic. Just a dumb, offhand thing. Well, you cook just like mom. Now, if you heard a record scratch in the universe that night, that was us. Emily froze. Fork midair. Her face dropped like I just compared her to a dictator with a Pinterest board. She didn't say anything. Just nodded slowly, stood up, and said, "I'm going to take a walk." That walk turned into a night at Ryan's place. Then a weekend. Then her moving her essential oils and half our books into his guest room. And now? Apparently I'm the villain in everyone's story. Because of one sentence. And I still don't fully understand what the hell just happened. But something tells me I'm about to find out. So Emily didn't come home that night. Or the next. At first, I figured she just needed space. I even did that thing where I left the porch light on like some suburban lighthouse calling back a lost sailor who took lasagna criticism too personally. But by day 3, the light was still on, my texts were still unread, and my cat was starting to look at me like, "Damn, you really screwed this one up." Then Ryan texted me. "She's here. She's safe. She just needs time." Which, coming from Ryan, is basically a cease and desist with a flannel-wrapped hug. This man has spent his entire life being emotionally available and therefore completely insufferable in a crisis. He's the kind of guy who makes tea with intention. He meditates. He has throw pillows that say things like "breathe through the discomfort." I called him. "Let me talk to her," I said. "I don't think that's a good idea right now," he said, voice soft like I was a feral dog near a baby stroller. "She's unpacking a lot." "Unpacking what?" I asked. And that's when he hit me with it. "She's realizing this wasn't just about the lasagna." Now, if you've never had your entire relationship collapse over a pasta metaphor, let me explain the emotional whiplash. It's like finding out your house burned down not from a fire, but from years of invisible mold and one bad spark. It wasn't the comment. It was everything leading up to it, apparently. Emily, according to Ryan, had been feeling dismissed, minimized, and emotionally isolated for years. She said I made little digs. I corrected her in front of people. I made jokes that weren't technically mean but chipped away at her confidence. Example? One time, I called her mac and cheese ambitious. Another time, I asked if she really needed another diffuser. I once said her gratitude journal sounded exhausting. And yes, fine, I may have said her new haircut made her look like a youth pastor, but in a cute way. Sue me. Apparently, I've been eroding her self-worth. Ryan's words, not mine. And it didn't stop there. Because guess who else suddenly had an existential breakdown about all of this? My mom. She called me sobbing. Sobbing. Said she knew it was her fault. That Emily had told her, years ago, that she didn't want to end up like her. That I'd inherited the coldness. That I turned every compliment into a veiled critique, just like she used to. Now she's in therapy. Actual, real therapy. talking to someone named Marcy about emotional legacies and generational blame cycles. I didn't even know my mom knew how to apologize, but now she's texting me things like, working on myself. Proud of you too, even if this hurts. What the hell is happening? I made one comment about lasagna. Now I'm the final boss of subtle abuse. Emily's nesting with my brother. My mom's unlocking trauma like it's a side quest. And me? I'm still eating leftovers. Alone. You ever read a text so brutal it feels like your phone personally slapped you? Because that was me, Friday night, sitting on my couch, drinking straight from a bottle of red wine that I definitely didn't let breathe, reading Emily's Facebook post like I was watching my own public execution live streamed with heart reacts. When you spend years being told your feelings are overreactions, you start to believe you're the problem. Turns out, silence isn't peace. It's fear. I'm finally choosing to stop apologizing for existing. It had 134 likes. People I hadn't seen since high school were commenting, "So proud of you, girl. And this is brave." One woman, I think she was in our wedding party, commented, "I knew something was off about him. He always made jokes that didn't feel like jokes." Cool. Apparently, I'm that guy now. The emotional abuser in a well-tailored hoodie. And of course, Ryan shared the post with the caption, "Proud of my sister-in-law for finding her voice. Healing is never easy, but it's always worth it." I wanted to punch my laptop, but instead, I messaged him, "What the actual F***ck are you doing?" He responded with a single sentence that made me want to set my apartment on fire. Sometimes the truth makes people uncomfortable. Ryan, who once cried at an episode of The Great British Bake Off, who journaled through his last breakup by writing letters to his future self. He was now my moral superior. And that wasn't even the worst part, because my mom sent me a screenshot. Not of the post, I'd already seen it, but of a message Emily sent to her. It was long, for paragraphs, in detail, about all the ways I'd slowly worn her down. Not hitting, not yelling, just little things. Mocking her Pinterest board, dismissing her anxiety, laughing when she cried during commercials, not remembering important dates, not looking up from my phone when she showed me something she was proud of. "He never made me feel seen," she wrote. I felt like wallpaper. Decorative, but ignored. I stared at it, like my own confession. Except I never wrote it. I just lived it. And now, apparently everyone had something to say. Her friends. My mom. Ryan. My cousin Rachel texted me, "Hey, if you ever want to talk about emotional labor and accountability, I'm here." What am I, an after-school special? I was being dissected like a cautionary tale, not by strangers, but by people who used to toast to my relationship at dinner parties. So I did what any dumbass with a bruised ego would do. I started typing my own post. One I was absolutely not ready to publish. But the first line? Apparently, I'm emotionally abusive now. And the worst part? I'm starting to wonder if they're right. So I wrote the post. Well, I drafted the post 5 times. The first version was full-blown rage. Since when is sarcasm a crime? Deleted. The second was the martyr vibe. I tried my best, but I guess my best wasn't enough. Also deleted. By the 5th draft, I landed on something that felt honest, in the same way a man on fire might say, "It's a little warm in here." I didn't post it, because by then, Ryan had already beaten me to the punch. He posted his own statement. A lot of people have reached out asking what's going on. It's not my story to tell, but I will say this. People don't leave happy homes. People don't walk away from respect, safety, and love. A picture of him and Emily smiling on his porch. Her wrapped in a blanket. Him holding a mug like it was full of truth serum. Over 200 likes. I saw people commenting things like, "Wow, I love that she has a safe space." Some brothers really step up. "You're such a good man, Ryan. This is what masculinity should look like." I invented Ryan. I taught him how to shave. I let him crash at my place for a summer when he failed out of college. And now he's emotionally spooning my wife and winning the damn gender wars. I couldn't stop myself. I texted him, "Enjoy playing hero, asshole." He replied instantly, "Maybe if you'd listened instead of deflecting, I wouldn't have to." I threw my phone across the room and immediately regretted it. Mostly because I needed it to read what came next. My mom called. Not to console me. To let me know Emily had asked to meet with her. Alone. She wants to clear the air, my mom said, all soft and diplomatic now that she's in weekly therapy and drinks tea like it fixes trauma. I think I owe her that. No. What you owe her is neutrality, I snapped. She said she doesn't blame me. That you were just raised in the same storm, my mom replied, voice trembling. She said you both deserve better. And I didn't know I'd done so much damage. Jesus Christ. Everyone around me was healing while I was still spiraling in my IKEA office chair, Googling, what does microaggression even mean? Then came the kicker. I got a message from Emily's friend, Jessica, the one who once spilled wine on my rug and didn't apologize. She DM'd me. I have screenshots. From your texts. The way you talked to her. The jokes you thought were funny. If you try to spin this, I'll post them. Just a heads up. And just like that, the word receipts became my new emotional trigger. It hit me. I had zero control now. Of the narrative. Of the people I used to call family. Of the girl who used to look at me like I was the safest place in the room. I hadn't lost Emily over one comment. I'd lost her inch by F*** ing inch asterisk over years. And now? Now she was living with my brother. And I was one Facebook post away from being turned into a thread on r/am I'm an asshole. They say no one really thinks they're the villain until they see the receipts. And I don't mean, oops, I forgot your birthday, kind of bad. I mean cold-blooded character assassination, one blue bubble at a time. Emily's friend Jessica didn't bluff. She sent me the screenshots, 5 years worth of texts and DMs between me and Emily, timestamped, archived, with highlights and emoji reactions like I was some exhibit in a toxic masculinity museum. First one hit like a slap. Me. It's not a panic attack. It's you being dramatic. Take a walk. That was from 2019. I remembered the night. I was watching playoff highlights. She was crying in the bathroom. I thought I was being helpful. Like tough love helpful. Next one. Emily, I worked so hard on this. Do you like it? Me. Yeah, it's great. You really Emily the hell out of it. That one? I remember her face. She laughed, but only with her mouth. Her eyes did that thing people do when they're trying not to flinch. More texts. More cracks. Me belittling her job. Me rolling my eyes at her therapy appointments. Me calling her cute when she tried to set boundaries. Me weaponizing silence like it was a marital tool. I called her sensitive. I called her needy. I called her too much, more times than I could count. And she just took it. Absorbed it like a punching bag that bled on the inside. I felt sick. It was like watching someone slowly drown and realizing you're the one who kept handing them water. The final blow? A note she wrote to herself. Jessica had sent a screenshot of a message Emily never sent. He doesn't hit me. He doesn't scream. He just makes me feel invisible. Like I'm not worth full volume love. I keep thinking if I shrink a little more, maybe he'll see me again. I had to put my phone down. My hands were shaking. My chest tight. I wanted to call her. Apologize. Beg. But what the hell do you say after 5 years of just joking that wasn't actually ever a joke? Sorry I made your confidence a punchline? Sorry I turned your anxiety into background noise? Sorry I gaslit you so hard I convinced myself I was the good guy? I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. So I did something I hadn't done since she left. I went to our bedroom, sat on her side of the bed, and cried like someone had died. Because someone had. The version of me I thought she loved? He was dead. He never existed. She loved a mask. And the man underneath? Was just a scared little boy playing husband like it was a role he never learned how to earn. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't eat. Didn't drink. Just sat on our old bed, in the house I used to share with a woman I loved like a child loves fireworks, mesmerized, reckless, and totally unprepared for the fallout. By morning, I was running on self-loathing and cold air. So I did what broken men do when they finally realize they're the problem. I wrote the apology text. I rewrote it 6 times. Deleted the part where I said, I never meant to hurt you, because she'd made it pretty clear intent doesn't erase impact. Deleted the I was raised this way line because that's just a prettier way of saying I never bothered to fix myself. What I finally sent her was raw, honest, ugly. You were right to leave. I thought I was just being sarcastic, clever, teasing, but I used humor to dodge real intimacy. I used dismissal to keep control. I see it now. Every time I made you feel small, I was trying to hide how little I knew how to love you. I'm sorry. For real. Not to get you back. Not to rewrite what happened. Just because it's the truth. And then I waited. Watched the 3 dots pop up. Disappear. Pop up again. 20 minutes later, she replied. Thank you. I'm glad you're starting to understand. But I'm not coming back. 12 words. 12F *****ing words, and my chest caved in like a cheap folding chair. I sat there staring at the screen like maybe if I blinked hard enough, it'd say something different. Something fixable. But it didn't. Because this wasn't a breakup. This was an eviction from her heart, from the life we built, from the person she used to be when she still had hope in me. I didn't text her again. Didn't beg. Didn't bargain. I just sat in the wreckage and finally, shut the hell up. And then Ryan called. I didn't answer at first. But he called again. persistent like a dog with a bone and a superiority complex. So I picked up. "Hey," I said, voice gravel. He didn't bother with small talk. "I know you meant that apology." She knows too. But meaning it now doesn't erase what you meant every other time. You didn't just hurt her. You convinced her it was normal. That's worse. That sentence? That one? It took the breath out of my lungs like a punch to the throat. "You want forgiveness?" he added. "Start by not needing her to give it to you." Click. He hung up. And for the first time since she left, I didn't feel angry or misunderstood or like the victim in some sad little tragedy I wrote for myself. I just felt small. And maybe that's exactly what I needed. Grief was starting to rot into something darker. It wasn't just that Emily left. It was how she left, smug, righteous, like she was walking out of a burning house she didn't help set on fire. Like she wasn't the one who ghosted therapy sessions, shut down real conversations with, "I'm just tired," and spent half our marriage emotionally checked out while I begged her to just talk to me. But in the court of public opinion, she was a survivor. And I was a villain in a hoodie. Ryan, the emotional support brother with the podcast voice, was now her knight in shining throw pillows. Everyone thought he saved her. No one saw what I saw, who I saw. So I decided to remind her. Not through some weak-ass prank. Not glitter bombs or Spotify warfare. No. I weaponized the past. I pulled up our shared photo archive. For years of moments. Smiles, trips, and side jokes. Stuff that never made Instagram, because it was real. The messy, beautiful stuff. The night she had a panic attack and I held her in the hallway until she fell asleep. The surprise dinner I cooked when she got that promotion. The letter I wrote her on our anniversary she said was too much to post but kept folded in her wallet for a year. And then, I printed them all. Hundreds of photos. Screenshots of texts. Scanned copies of notes in her handwriting. Our Spotify wrapped from 2018 with the caption, "Best year of my life." A picture of her asleep on my chest with a post-it on the back that read, "You said you'd never leave me. I believed you." I took all of it. Put it in a leather-bound scrapbook. No jokes. No edits. Just truth. And I mailed it to her. No return address. No message. Just the book. For days later, she called me. First time since she left. She didn't yell. She didn't accuse. She just whispered, "Why would you do this?" I said nothing. She kept going. I was doing okay. I really thought I made the right decision. And then I saw your handwriting again, and silence. I forgot how much you loved me. I forgot how much we had. I could hear her crying. Not angry tears. Gutted tears. Because what I'd done wasn't revenge by fire. It was slow suffocation. A mirror. A reminder of what she chose to walk away from, and maybe, just maybe, shouldn't have. And then she said the words I wasn't ready for. Maybe I was wrong too. Click. She hung up before I could say anything. But it didn't matter. I wasn't doing this to win her back. I just wanted her to finally feel what I'd been carrying since the moment she left. The truth. Unedited. Undeniable. And just painful enough to make her remember. She wasn't innocent either. The scrapbook broke her. I know it did. You can hear it in someone's voice when their entire reality caves in. The stuttering silence. That wet pause between, "I was fine," and, "I don't know anymore." But that wasn't enough. Because I finally realized something. Emily didn't just leave me. She rewrote me. She turned me into a monster, turned herself into a saint, and played our story like a sad little indie movie where she walks barefoot into the ocean and I stay behind, unhealed and angry, because I couldn't grow. Nah, I grew. Into her ****ing reckoning. So here's what I did. Step 1. I went public. I posted a thread. Not a rant. Not some 3 a.m. pity post. No, a timeline. Facts. Dates. Screenshots. Photos. Receipts. I laid it all out. How she used to mock my anxiety behind my back, but posted #mental health awareness on Instagram for clout. How she emotionally disconnected because she was already talking to someone else, a coworker. I found the DMs. The late night, "I wish I'd met you first" messages dated 6 months before she left me. How she told people I made her feel invisible, but conveniently left out the part where I paid her rent during grad school, cooked every night, and sat through every family event where her mom called me Liam, even though my name is Luke. And best of all, I included the screenshot of her message to Ryan, where she said she needed a break, but didn't know how to end things without looking like the bad guy. Oops. I posted it. Tagged no one. But people knew. Mutual friends. Old coworkers. Her followers. It spread fast. Within hours, my DMs were full. Damn, bro. I never knew. She always seemed so fake. but I didn't want to say anything. I feel like I need to rewatch your whole relationship in reverse now. And Emily? She went dark, deleted her Instagram, made her Facebook private, shut down the Etsy shop. I didn't hear from her for 3 days. Until today. One message. Why are you doing this? I never meant to hurt you like that. And I finally replied. You didn't hurt me. You humiliated me. You made me the villain in a story you wrote, then ran to my brother to play damsel. So now, I'm just editing the ending. She didn't respond. But I know what I did. I took the lie she built her new life on, and I ripped it out by the roots. And you want to know the sickest part? I don't even feel bad. Because love isn't supposed to break you quietly. But revenge? Revenge is loud as hell.
Thanks for watching. Bye bye.